The bear market is for the builders, the ones who carve out their own path, creating technology that will change the future of tomorrow. They don't shill. They don't cry. They have their heads down building and making the connections that will secure their blockchain infrastructure will be used on scales we couldn't even imagine. So are you ready to see who is building like Bob the Builder? Well, you don't really have a choice because it's time for Chico Crypto. So to begin this episode, let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Late last week, Thursday to be exact, Bloomberg Law dropped this article. Crypto miners' energy, climate costs draw White House scrutiny. Yikes, is the White House coming after Bitcoin? Well, that was a good title to make it look like it, but if you dive deeper, you get a clear picture of what they are doing. The article states the Biden administration is teeing up policy recommendations to lower cryptocurrency mining's energy consumption and emissions footprint. It's important, if this is going to be part of our financial system in any meaningful way, that it's developed responsibly and minimize total emissions, Costa Samaras, Principal Assistant Director for Energy for the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, told Bloomberg Law. The study aims to drill down into claims that have touted cryptocurrency as a societal benefit or criticized it as a local nuisance and a climate nightmare, said Samaras. The team will study claims made in recent months in places like Texas that mining facilities could provide grid operators with flexibility by agreeing to temporarily shut down during times of peak demand. So the aim of this is to reduce Bitcoin and crypto mining energy consumption and the emissions footprint. They will study claims that Bitcoin mining is an energy hog, or it can be used to benefit the environment and the grid. So I wonder who could be helping with this. Well, in the same Bloomberg Law article, they not only got comments from Costa Samaras, but another person, Jesse Morris, CEO of Energy Web. From the article, I have a really hard time seeing some sort of stick approach, said Jesse Morris, CEO of Energy Web, a technology company that works with utilities and consumers to accelerate decarbonization. I think the most bang for their buck is going to be on education and disclosure of Bitcoin mining, and that would send a huge signal too. Last month, Energy Web unveiled a scoring system that would show how Bitcoin miners and potential other industries are using their consumption to drive lower emissions. Well, just as this article was released, Jesse Morris tweeted, "Major opportunity for White House to partner with the BTC community and transform corporate renewable purchasing and disclosure. Via Energy Web and Rocky Mountain Institute approach, we can incentivize companies to buy renewables that produce the deepest carbon benefits." Now, is this just a coincidence Jesse is featured in the article and tweeting about it on the same day? Or does Energy Web have connections to the White House? Well, I'll just let you in on a little secret. It's the latter. Energy Web has direct connections to the White House and government on multiple levels. So to begin, let's look at a certain person who worked for Energy Web. As we can see from the July 2019 white paper, Claire Henly was part of the Energy Web Foundation and contributed to the creation of the white paper. And this Yale business profile on Claire gives us a clear picture of what she worked on. It says, Claire Henly directs the Energy Web Foundation's technology deployment work, developing the frameworks, technical standards, and best practices necessary to drive adoption of blockchain technology by the energy sector. Her portfolio includes EW Origin, a secure, low-cost public tracking system for renewable energy credits, EW Link, a set of standards and best practices to connect distributed energy assets to the blockchain, and the D3A simulation, a tool to evaluate the economic impacts of a blockchain-based transactive energy model for electricity grids. She contributed to the creation of the three highly important Energy Web technologies, EW Origin, EW Link, and the D3A, which is now known as the Grid Singularity Energy Exchange. Although before Energy Web, we can see from her profile she worked for the RMI, the Rocky Mountain Institute, for a whopping 5 years. And if you didn't know, Rocky Mountain is one of the 2 co-founders of Energy Web, along with Grid Singularity. So there's no doubt Claire is connected to Energy Web on a level that goes nearly a decade deep. I wonder what Claire did while working for Energy Web. Well, in 2018, she testified before the US Senate on using blockchain in the energy sector. Well, did she stop there with the government? No, my friends. She joined the government. Checking out her LinkedIn, we can see now she works for the White House as a White House fellow, serving in the executive office of the president, placed on the special envoy for the climate, being a direct assistant to John Kerry. Yeah, Energy Web has a mole in the White House. So the next question is, are they working on anything together? Well, we got to go back to this tweet from Energy Web co-founder RMI back in February of this year. RMI retweeted the White House and a press release from them on the Buy Clean Task Force. RMI said, "The new Buy Clean Task Force will support low-carbon materials made in American factories. RMI Emissions is working to advance the decarbonization of industrial materials supply chains with blockchain tech and data transparency. Onward, White House." Now if we dive into the press release they retweeted and scroll to the section on the Buy Clean Task Force, the White House says this regarding it. The Council on Environmental Quality and White House Office of Domestic Climate Policy are establishing the first ever Buy Clean Task Force, which will harness the federal government's massive purchasing power to support low-carbon materials made in American factories. So who's helping to make this a reality? Well, they say, and the State Department and U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate are securing corporate purchasing commitments for low-carbon materials and technologies through the First Movers Coalition. Yep, the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for the Climate, the same one Claire Henly was appointed to as a direct assistant to John Kerry. So is RMI and Energy Web helping to build this out? Well, going back to RMI's retweet of the press release, we can see below RMI says, "We use blockchain to help our friends new to this tech understand the main message. We're proud to partner with Energy Web on this work." So what is the work? Well, remember the White House Buy Clean Task Force is made to support low-carbon materials made in American factories. Going to RMI's website and their supply chain emissions initiative, we can see they highlight something called COMET, which is creating a universal greenhouse gas calculation framework that can be used in all industrial supply chains. Now, if you scroll down, they say this under digital infrastructure and exchanges. Improving emissions accuracy by working with the Energy Web Foundation to create a blockchain platform that will digitally track emissions through a supply chain. So does RMI COMET in the Energy Web have any government connections? Of course it does. RMI is in direct contact with the SEC in regards to the President's executive orders on climate. Here's a letter from RMI to the SEC. They say, "I am pleased to submit comments in response to the request for public input on climate change disclosure on behalf of RMI. We are encouraged by President Biden's executive order on climate-related financial risk and the G7 finance ministers and central bank governors' communique. The Securities and Exchange Commission's commitment to enhance corporate disclosure on climate risk will be critical to support these important commitments and help mitigate systemic risks associated with climate change." Now, guess who had a talk in February of which the SEC attended? February 24th. Energy Web hosted the Make Money Green ESG and Financial Regulation event. And yep, as you can see, the SEC was there, specifically Commissioner Allison Herron-Lee as an official guest. Now, remember at the beginning of the episode, it was the White House investigating Bitcoin mining. Could it be green? Well, look at what we have here. A pinned tweet by RMI, released last month, May 9th. It says, proud to announce a new approach to decarbonize electricity-intensive industries in partnership with Energy Web. The approach is applicable to any sector, and EW is currently trialing the approach in the crypto sector with a link to learn more about the case study. Going to this, yep, it's green proofs for BTC. It says, to maximize the impact of renewables used to power Bitcoin and bring greater transparency to the network's carbon footprint, Green Proofs for BTC combines Energy Web's Green Proofs technology solution with a new assessment approach co-created with RMI for determining the impact of different renewable energy purchases. So, how do you like them apples? Or should I say Granny Smith green apples? Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.